What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we are getting back into the USFL. We're going to be talking about the final 4 head coaching positions today. Now, if it's your first time here, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back, and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. Now, you know I give you a thumbs up at the end of every video, and I'd appreciate it if you give me one back down there as well. You know that every like and every subscribe helps out the channel. And speaking of helping out the channel, I'd appreciate it if you would comment down below today on what your favorite kind of ice cream is. Now, mine is Toff's Peanut Butter Cup. It's been that way for a very, very long time, ever since I was a little kid and could go. We went after church on Sunday night to the Toff's, like where they literally make it there in Sandusky, and, used to sit in those, booths with the little trays on them, the wooden booths with the trays. If you're from, that area in Ohio, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but Toff's Peanut Butter Cup is where it's at for me. I want to know where it's at for you. So without further ado, let's get into these head coaching positions. And I got my cheat sheet right here. And really, I've got a long list of them. And I really don't know, which one is going to be which and this and that. And I'm really not going to break them down into, very much detail. You kind of know who they are. And if you don't, you can look them up. I've got them, though, into 4 different categories. And I'm going to start with kind of likely coaches. Not huge fan, but they could be likely coaches. And then the next one are likely coaches that I like. The third group are coaches that I hope they get, that are still kind of in the realm of, guys that I think they can get. And then the last group are dream coaches. And these are guys that I think that are going to be home runs for them if they can pick up. This is not me going for pie in the sky type of stuff. This is me still trying to be realistic at least a little bit, but these would be guys that I would be shocked if they got. So let's start off with that first group. And the first group really is just made up of a lot of guys that have worked with Brian Woods in the spring league before. And really, these are guys like, Kevin Gilbride, Hal Mumme, and, Todd Cottrell. And Ted Cottrell. And all of these guys, they worked in the spring league before. These all are, these guys are known around all the leagues. People know them. They're highly respected. Hal Mumme, he's probably the one I like the most out of all these guys. Not a Kevin Gilbride fan at all. He had some success when he was with the Giants, but when he was with the Guardians, they were just a dumpster fire. I will say when Luis Perez took over, things kind of shifted for them, and I think they could have possibly turned some things around. Not a huge fan there. And, Cottrell, I really he's a defensive-minded guy. I'm kind of more of an offensive-minded type of a person, but I think that he has a lot of clout that will bring that to the league. I wouldn't be surprised if 2 of these guys, if not all 3 of them, fill these positions. I think that's how likely these could be. Now, the next likely candidates are guys that are kind of in that same spot, but they're guys that I actually like, and for different reasons for all of them. So I'm going to start off with Winston Moss. Winston Moss is just a guy he's got a lot of moxie, and he just kind of says it how he feels, and he's really a player's coach, and he's just a guy that is a really good soundbite, and I love watching him. I love listening to him talk. I love the way that he coaches. He is a very no frills guy, and he's a very aggressive coach, and so I like that. And so that's why I like him. And I could easily see him sliding in there and fitting in here. Jim Zorn is a guy who I like as well. I think that he is a guy that brings, name clout to this organization if they can bring him in. So that would make sense to me with him. Mark Trestman is a guy that I just like how creative he is on offense. He really didn't, they won 1 game when he was with the Vipers, but I just thought that he just had a fun offense to watch. I mean, and really they had the best offense in the league. They just kept giving up ridiculous amounts of points. So he is a fun guy to watch at the helm, and he seems to, not just be a single-minded, like how Mumme, he's going to run his style of offense. And if he can get his style of quarterback, the sky's the limit for him. But Trestman will really massage his offense to fit for the personnel that he has, and which is really cool. So the different personnel he has, you see his offense evolve, which is really cool and nice. Jerry Glanville, listen, he is just a fiery, just kind of off the wall crazy guy, and listen, he's great for TV. And if Fox will let them get on the sidelines and get in these coaches' faces and really get to see behind the scenes like we did with the XFL, he is going to be a fun guy if they bring him on. I would say the 3 head coaching positions will probably be filled out of these 2 sections. The next group, I think that will probably be like that last hire. And this is the guy that they're really trying to kind of sell and really be, that guy that's just going to stand out and just be, that excellent hire for them, that surprise hire that's going to bring clout and really, raise and elevate, the just the class of the, the league and, really just bring credence to the USFL here. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at with these. Some of these guys probably aren't going to be that splashy of a pick, but they are going to be guys that that I like, that I think that are obtainable. Really, right now, I think that they're sitting there and waiting to get this guy. I think that's why we haven't heard anything else about the other coaches. We've got probably 3 coaches that are waiting, and they're trying to get that last, coach to really fall into that spot, and that's why they haven't announced the other set of coaches yet. Or it could just be that they're trying to, take the announcements and kind of just, weigh them out as they go. But, we'll see. So, coaches that I hope they get. And let's start off right with Norm Chow. I like Norm Chow. I think the way that he coaches, I think it's really good. If you remember, excellent job at USC, did a good job there in Hawaii, and I really liked the way that he was calling things, the way they were figuring things out there for the Wildcats when he was doing that in LA. And you could definitely tell that he was starting to have fun with football again. So it'd be neat to see if they could get him back into, football with us. So bringing him in as a head coach, I think would be a no-brainer. He would be a fun one. He would be one of those guys that would work with the camera as well, which would be really nice. That wouldn't be, anything against him with it. And it would be fun to see his offense back on the field again. Cause really they were just starting to get going when the XFL, took a kaput. So that he would be the first one. The next guy that I would say with that would be Rick Neuhiesel. And Rick Neuhiesel is a guy that, he's been around a lot of places. He's got a lot of clout, and in both, the pro ranks and also in college ranks. And he did a really, really good job with the AAF. And, he would fit in really, really well here. They had a really nice winning record, ran a really good team there in Arizona. They were a fun team to watch, with that, to where I think that he would be a really, really smart hire if they could get him. And I think that he would definitely, be one of those guys. I think that would bring a surprise, that they picked up a guy like that. But he would be a guy that I would really, really want that, maybe not a lot of people are talking about. The last one in this group is another former Hawaii guy, and he's a guy who's trying to get the head coaching job at Hawaii right now, and that's June Jones. You definitely can tell that the XFL lit a fire underneath him, especially the way that they finished things off. He did have a stint in the Spring League. This situation might be different, that it might bring him back, but, I don't know where his relationship with Brian Woods is or not. But he would definitely be an amazing hire. If they could snatch him up, I think that would be huge. Really, I think Rick Neuhiesel would be huge for them, especially even like guys like Jim Zorn. I think that these would be huge hires for them, and I think that would really be hard for the XFL to do stuff if they can snatch up a lot of these guys. It's going to be tough for the XFL. coming back with that. Now, to the dream coaches, and I've got a guy in here that I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, but he would bring a lot of clout. He would bring a lot of respect, and he would definitely elevate the league. I'm not a huge fan of his. I just don't like his style, but it is what it is. And that would be Marvin Lewis. And he's already been rumored out there. I don't know if he is a guy that they have considered hiring, or a guy that is. It's one that's out there, so I would put it out there. It would be a huge hire for them. It wouldn't move the needle for me, but I think, I guess I would say it would move the needle for me just because it would bring respect to the league. And, right now the league needs all the respect that they can get. The second one in this group would be Bob Stoops. And, I don't really see him doing anything like that right now. I think he came back for the one game. I don't know if he's really there. I don't know, but if they could bring him in, I think that would be a huge deal for them and a huge thing with that. I think another guy that really, that could be an interesting thing, and I'm just throwing out there because he's kind of available right now, would be Jay Gruden. Not John Gruden, but Jay Gruden. I think Jay Gruden is a guy who has lived in this space before. So, he did the UFL, United Football League. And he has been to a lot of different places, and he is a really good coach. That's had success in some places and not so successful in others. I could really see him doing some things. We'll see what happens, but he would be a guy that I would see them going after. And my number one pick would have to be the head ball coach, right? It would have to be Steve Spurrier, and that's really just it. I mean, the way that he finished the AAF, the way that he went out and made sure that he had a championship ring made for himself for that team going undefeated, and you could just tell. Listen, the guy is just full of energy, and I would love to see him coaching back on the sidelines again. I think he would be a great guy, to get in front of the camera, to really see what he has left in the tank coaching and that with it. Do I think that they'll get him? No, but like I said, he's a dream coach for me. Like I said, I didn't really go any pie in the sky stuff. I didn't really go out crazy, with a lot of this stuff. And I stayed with pretty much established guys, in this type of a space. I did not go into really a lot of the college guys, which, they did pick up some guys with high college pedigree on some of their other head coaching, so I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up something there. But pretty much those are kind of the guys that I kind of, as I was looking through who's available and who I thought that they could get, those would be the guys that I have. And that's pretty much all that I have. So, as always, I'd love to know what you think down in the comments section. Let me know who your picks are. If you think my picks are crazy, if you like my picks, let me know down in the comments, and we'll continue the conversation on down there. All right, guys, listen, I know that you're busy, and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.